we all showed up for the oceans and for Oceana. And that's right. Here is where we are all supposed to be. This is what we're all supposed to be doing. Now is time and past time to stand up and be counted. We need to reach out to the oceans before the oceans come into our living rooms and ask us where we were when they needed us. Speaking of living rooms, do you ever wonder why there isn't more TV news about what we know is happening in the real world? And in particular, in the 65% of it covered by water? I think the reason is simple. TV has known almost as long as ExxonMobil and the Republican Party that what we're doing is building catastrophe into our future and the future of the seas. But TV is at root a sales device, just like the internet. So while the news's speciality is always going to be bad news, it wants to tell us the bad news we want to hear. So it can hold on to our eyeballs and sell us things. Do you hate the way people give the president a hard time? There's a channel for you. Does the president give you the horrors? There are a couple of places on your TV that are ready to feed that horror. The oceans don't have their own channel because our eyeballs shrink from seeing that the bad guys in that story are us. That's one reason we don't like being responsible for anything so vast, even if when it comes to the very resilient seas, we can fix a whole lot of what we broke. And the other reason is a lot of the ocean news, much as we need to know it, is hard to watch. Sharks finned and dumped still alive into the sea so people can have an expensive kind of soup. A drowned swordfish hanging by its sword from a gill net. A whale dragging ghost fishing gear up and down the coast of California for years and eventually dying of exhaustion and malnutrition. An orca unable to let go of its dead newborn pup. A popular news channel isn't going to feature the hard news about the oceans. But the deniers of the facts still get lots of ink. These days, what with all the hurricanes, fires, and droughts, with the rising seas, the rising temperatures, and the submerging nations, that fiction is harder to maintain. So an even more poisonous lie that it's too late to do anything is being trundled out to replace it. If only fish could write, they'd have some choice words for that. And meanwhile, organizations like Oceana are making wonderful and real changes which are literally saving the future. There is a lot of terrific stuff getting done. And the ocean's response to that kind of good treatment can be breathtaking. The ocean's natural state is abundance. There isn't a news channel for all that, but there's Oceana, and there's you who cared enough to be here and to give. And there are a lot of people like you, more and more of us, some of us New Yorkers, some with very familiar names like Bloomberg and Rockefeller, and some you'll never hear about. But the word is getting out, and the accomplishments are piling up. The fish are making the papers sometimes, and they are coming back toward abundance. Some of the fishermen are able to prosper again, and the whale's plight is being made known because Oceana, God bless her, along with her sister organizations, is pushing back against the deception and ignorance and heedlessness, answering back with undeniable science and fact and winning victories for the fish and for the fishermen. Save the oceans, feed the world is an Oceana slogan. It's also a wonderful truth, a truth Oceana is busy making real all over the world. you get a sense of the reach and power of this wonderful engine for good and of the size and magnificence of what it's fighting for, just from the names. The Gulf of St. Lawrence, the Juan Fernandez Islands, Malta, the Delwood South, Explorer, Zgan, Kingless Bowie, Hodgkins, Davidson, Seamounts, Belize, the Benham Rise, Ambergris Cay, Chile, the Haida Gwaii Islands, Lighthouse Reef, Brazil, the Bay of Biscay, the Philippines, Sweden, the Desventuradas Islands, Salas y Gomez, Spain, the Tanyon Strait, the California Senate Bill number 1017, England, the Drift Net Modernization and Bycatch Reduction Act in the United States Congress, the Canada Fishery Audit of 2017, Mexico, France, Peru, and I'll say it again, Belize, where the second biggest coral reef in the world isn't getting any oil wells drilled into it. Thanks. And that's thanks to the perseverance of a single-minded woman. Yes, a woman who runs Oceana Belize and whose name is Janelle Chanona, a name that stands here for all the women and men who, like her, do Oceana's fighting and winning for you and for your children and your children's children unto the 12th generation in places as strange and remote and as essential as the quark between Finland and Sweden, known to its friends as Kvarken, or sometimes Merenkurku, and in places as familiar and near to hand and essential as the United States of America. Speaking of home, Manhattan, a fish with a name that sounds like Manhattan. They're back, right here and all along Long Island, this close, thanks to some science-based restraint that allowed them to prosper again. Right behind them have come the sharks and the whales that had been hungering for them. The Hudson River estuary that Nelson Rockefeller referred to as an open sewer. The Hudson, right here behind us, is coming back. Play our cards right, whales will be as common as sailboats here. And New York City, once again, will be the oyster capital of the world. This is the kind of realizable dream that your presence here makes possible. The ocean wants to be abundant. You're in the right place at the right time, and you're doing the right thing. And you have Oceana with you, so you picked the right crew. Thank you for this honor. I'm lucky to be here tonight and proud to be in your company. Congratulations and thank you.